Hello everyone, hey, thank you, and thank you for joining me. This is Michael Voss, the Dragon of the Southern Tier. I'm here with you today on a snowy February 7th. I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone is safe that is reaching this. I know a lot of people in the Northeast are having a lot of problems, actually even in central United States are having problems with snow today. Well, let's get right into this because there's a bunch of things that I want to talk about here on No Soundbites. And obviously, we no longer have the question about impeachment. That's gone. It's done. I hear the tears and I see the tears of many of the Democrats out there. Nancy Pelosi, you know what? Deal with it. It's over. At least for now, anyway. You know they're going to come back and do another one. But unless we want to have an impeachment vote on the same day that we have the U.S. presidential vote, let's actually focus on the issues that really do matter that a lot of people have been missing for quite some time. And one of the big things that we have is the fact that a lot of people may not have heard. In New York State, like many other states that are considering this, there is what we call the Green Light Law. That was a bill, a law that was passed by the single-party government of New York State and Governor Cuomo. Progressives put through this idea, besides bail reform, that if you are an illegal alien, no, not an undocumented worker. The document they're missing is any authorization to be in the nation. They are illegal aliens. That is the correct legal term. Illegal aliens are now able in New York State to get a driver's license, which is a criminal act. And that only promotes other crimes like working without a social security number. That is a crime. Driving without insurance because they are illegal aliens. They don't have social security numbers. So if they're using a social security number to get insurance, well, that's fraud. If they got a job, that's fraud. So that's what New York State is enabling, crimes. These are direct consequences of a poorly thought out law. But those consequences don't end just there because there is a federal consequence as well. No one's been talking about it because everyone's been talking about impeachment for months on end to get to the point that we knew we started at, that there would be no impeachment. So what we missed is on the 6th, yesterday, the LA Times and the New York Post, the New York Times reported that the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, has notified New York State, if you are a resident of New York State, if you got an enhanced driver's license, if you have gone out there and paid the extra money, well, you just wasted your money. If you were trying to get into the global entry program, which would allow you to go into and out of airports faster, well, you just wasted your money and you're wasting your time because New York State, through its unintended consequences of giving illegal aliens the ability to have a driver's license, and besides the ability to vote in elections, they have corrupted the security of the nation. It is a national security conflict. And because of that, the Department of Homeland Security has decided that no one in New York State can get the global entry program, that you will have to be delayed whether you're trying to get in and out of the United States through our airports or through our water ports in the United States. In particular, it was said that this is a problem because of the ICE. Because New York State, in giving illegal aliens these driver's licenses, they have stopped ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, from being able to backtrack, do some background, and find out where these illegal aliens are, both to deport them and to investigate their status. Because New York State is protecting the illegal aliens, not the citizens, the illegal aliens, well, that means we may have not only just criminals because they broke the law in entering the United States, but these could be individuals who are a danger to the security of the United States. They could be terrorists. They could be gang members like MS-13. They could be criminals who have committed violent crimes in other nations and have entered the United States, and we don't know about it. These individuals pose a threat to the citizens. Therefore, no one gets to go and get this global entry. Everyone must be checked if you're from New York State, and it must delay your trip. Thank you, New York State. This is the benefit of trying to protect illegal aliens instead of trying to protect the people and trying to take care of the residents and citizens of the United States. In trying to take care of illegal aliens, we are putting more pressure and more inconvenience to the people in New York State. I gotta tell you, that's just upsetting. Obviously, I do also want to talk about the economy, but I'm going to go into that in a later video. But I also want to talk about what's going on, since we're talking about inconveniences. My God, is it inconvenient, as the LA Times is talking about, what's going on with Iowa. Let's think about this. The Democratic Party has just displayed exactly the type of competence that they want to bring to the entire nation if they are able to win the 2020 elections. And I'm not just talking about the presidential, we're talking about Congress, we're talking about the Senate, we're talking about legislatures and local levels. Incompetence all the way around. And how incompetent can the Democratic Party be? In the Iowa caucuses, which are supposed to set up the 2020 presidential candidates that most everyone across the nation cannot agree with. There is no Democratic front runner, to be true and honest about it. What they found is that they have, quote, inconsistencies. I love it. When it's a Democratic issue where you have illegal voting, we have more votes than you have people registered to vote. When you have numbers that are false and in dispute and possible corruption, it's called an inconsistency. If it happens with a Republican, then it's all outright cheating and collusion. And we see that, I believe it was Representative Maxine Waters, Representative Lee out of Texas, has now blamed this on the Russians. The Russians caused Iowa to have false numbers, to have people who were not registered to be able to vote. That you could have more people who voted than actually exist. And I love this because Democrats always love to tell you, there is no such thing as voter fraud. Well, it can't be if you call it an inconsistency, because in fact what it is voter fraud. You have more people counted as voting than exists. In fact, going by the New York Times, and I'm quoting their article, which is the article titled, one second. The article is titled, Democratic Party Chairman Calls for Iowa Recount as Vote Tally Meltdown Continues. That was published yesterday, February 6th at 4:45 p.m. And what we see in this is that they mention that in the results, and I'm quoting the article now, quote, some vote tallies did not add up. Some precincts allotted the wrong number of delegates to certain candidates, and the state's party's results did not match all of those reported by precincts. These are quotes, end quote. That's the New York Times. So you know what's that called? Voter manipulation. That's called just a bad count. It's called cheating. When your numbers don't match up, when you have more votes and more tallies going to one candidate than another, you're cheating. It's not, well, the only thing you can't call it is rigged, quite honestly. That's what it is. This is sad. This is upsetting. Democrats should be embarrassed, they should be upset, and they should be concerned. In 2016, evidence came out, and we know for a fact that the Democratic Party rigged the primaries against Bernie Sanders. We know for a fact that has happened in the past. We know that many of the Democrats, like John Kerry, don't want to see Bernie Sanders move forward. And now we see in Iowa that they are, again, coming up with numbers that don't make sense. Did Pete Buttigieg win? Did Bernie Sanders? Should it have been Biden? Should it have been Warren? Could it be Klobuchar? We don't know, because the numbers don't match up. There is falsehoods here. This is cheating. This is rigging the system. Even if it was absolutely 100% sure and we're not, it's already in question. Throw it out. This is what you get with a democratic government. Rules all and trust the government without questions. When the government screws up, because the government in particular, this party is out there doing something in the background to rig it, and they get caught, you know what? This is what you get for trusting implicitly the government, these single parties. I'm not telling you that Republicans are perfect, but I am telling you they're not rigging elections. That's for sure. But we know that in Iowa they're doing it, and I have every reason to believe if they're willing to do it in Iowa, the biggest, one of the first vote tallies in all of elections, then when wouldn't they do it? How do we know they're not doing it in every single precinct, in every single election? You can't tell me that you're sure they don't, because you can't be sure. Not when unknown numbers. What, the dead are voting again? I know that's something that happens a lot in New York State, but it seems it happens in Iowa too. This is sad, people. This is very sad. So I'm going to leave it at that. What are we looking at? There's a lot of news to pay attention to now that we're not paying attention to the false impeachment issues. Focusing on what's going on right now, we have problems. And they're centered around the Democratic Party and the progressive ideals of protecting illegal aliens and suppressing voters and suppressing and cheating and rigging elections. And that has nothing to do with Republicans. That's all about Democrats. You know what? 2020 is an issue. We need to pay attention to this. And if this is what the Democrats are offering us, I can't see how the American people will vote for that. It's just not in our best interest. But you tell me. You can reach me at 607-242-1582. You can reach out on MV Consult on Twitter. You can reach us at Voss Political Commentary on Facebook. And of course, you can comment here on YouTube. We look forward to hearing from you on what you think. Talk to you again soon.